Hello and welcome to our special program Venezuela Decides 2025 in the framework of the swearing-in ceremony of President Nicolás Maduro. I'm your host Alejandra Garcia and I invite you to stay with us for all the details on this event of great significance not just for Venezuela but also for Latin America and the Global South. On Friday, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro was sworn in by the National Assembly for his third constitutional term. The ceremony was held at the Federal Legislative Palace before more than 2,000 international guests, 51 delegations from over 125 countries, including 13 dignitaries and heads of state. National Assembly President Jorge Rodriguez performed the leader's investiture for the 2025-2031 term, stating it represented an expression of the sovereignty of the people who democratically elected President Maduro on July 28, 2024. During the ceremony, which was supported nationwide by demonstrations from various sectors of the population, the head of state vowed this new presidential term would be one of peace, prosperity, equality, and new democracy.
This solemn session starts to express the sovereignty of the people of Venezuela, to enforce the supreme mandate that the people of Venezuela, its heroic women and men, granted last July 28, 2024, by electing citizen Nicolás Maduro Moros as constitutional president of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. And that is the reason that brings us here today.
Ante esta magna Asamblea Nacional, Poder Legislativo de la República.
Before this great National Assembly, legislative power of the Republic, before visitors and delegates from 125 countries, before the people of Venezuela, I swear by Huaycaipuro and indigenous peoples, I swear by Pedro Camejo, El Negro Primero, and José Leonardo Chirinos, I swear by Bolívar, by Sucre, by Urdaneta, by Manuela Sáenz, I swear by the eternal memory of our beloved chief and commander, Hugo Chávez, and I swear by the historic, noble, and brave people of Venezuela, before this Constitution, that I will comply with all its mandates, that I will comply with all the obligations of the Constitution and the laws of the Republic, and that this new presidential term will be the term of peace, prosperity, equality, and the new democracy. I swear by history, I swear by my life, and so I will comply, and we will comply. I swear.
Lo juro por la historia, lo juro por mi vida, y así cumpliré y cumpliremos, lo juro. Gran emoción de recibir mi banda presidencial.
It fills me with emotion to receive my presidential sash, made by the hands of humble women from the neighborhoods of Caracas, made by the hands of artists. It is a special sash because it brings the blessings of the people. And I say to the people, here is your sash. This band was made by the people president, and now it is carried by the president people, and I will never fail you. I will never betray you. Know that I'm going forward with the hurricane and volcanic force of a people that wants a homeland, that wants a future, that wants peace.
Y volcánica de un pueblo que quiere patria, que quiere futuro, que quiere paz.
And to go deep into the relevance of this event, I'm not alone. I'm joined by Ayanda Hollow, President of TV BRICS of Africa. Welcome and thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Alejandra, for inviting me. It's a pleasure being here.
Well, delegations from 100 countries came to Venezuela to accompany President Nicolás Maduro in his swearing-in ceremony. What does this mean in the context of the far-right's intentions to isolate Venezuela, and how remarkable it is for President Nicolás Maduro to receive such an international celebration and greeting?
I think people of the Global South are well aware of these games of trying to isolate leaders that are chosen by the people. So I think as media, we've come from all corners of the earth to try and come and witness of what happened today. The will of the people did take place on the 28th of July, and today was that celebration of putting the president, someone they want to be led by him.
Progressive governments are seeing this inauguration as a defeat for the U.S. and its Western allies' attempts to interfere, not just in Venezuela, but also in Latin American internal affairs. On your opinion, also for Venezuela today, he is arising as an independent state, as a sovereign state. How, on your opinion, was the path of Venezuela, the path that the country has had to face over the past decades to reach this achievement?
You know, if I can tell you a story, we got our breakthrough of freedom in 1994 in South Africa, trashing apartheid to the rubbish bins. But we've since learned that fascism doesn't end. We all need to be working together and making sure that we never lose sight of what people want out there. So Venezuela will, by its nature of looking for being sovereign, and most especially being sovereign in its economy, is going to and has in the past few years been really challenged because the powers that be in the world don't want the people to really have the true democracy of owning their own wealth. So I would have expected, and I'm still expecting it, that more is still to come. Yes, it has gone through these challenges. It's winning this round, but I think the people need to stay resilient and together, like we saw in the streets today, to ensure that fascism is really trashed out, like we did in apartheid in South Africa.
You took part in the celebrations of today's inauguration of the President Nicolás Maduro. So what is your perception of today's event? How did you feel the atmosphere of the people on the streets? What's your opinion?
I think it reminded me of the days when we celebrated our freedom in South Africa. Certainly, people were out there. They really worked to first win the elections in a democratic space, and giving even the opposition, I mean, I saw the opposition as well, been given a space to voice whatever they wanted to voice. And yet the will of the people did come through. People were dancing, people were singing, people were celebrating a leader that has promised today that he will do everything to take care of them, but he also knows that he's not a saint. He's not a saint who's going to do this alone. He needs to do it with the people. He's come through this far with the people, and I would expect him to carry on that path of working together with the people of Venezuela.
Yeah. The swearing-in ceremony for many countries of the world is a symbolic event, a protocol event that, but for Venezuela, is the opposite. It has a connotation, an international connotation, and geopolitical connotation, and also a great international attention. On your opinion, why is this happening, and what are the real interests behind these intentions of the far right and its financiers and supporters of the hegemonic powers that are trying to interrupt the democratic process of Venezuela?
You know, sometimes we have this term and word called democracy, and we define it down south as it's when the people govern. we say the people shall govern. We should never move democracy to a space where it's just the decorum of protocol officers and leaders signing documents and saying and promising this or that. But the people themselves need to feel free. And freedom is not about only just getting prosperity or transforming one's economy. Freedom is that feeling, is that soul that feeds you for quality to say that I'm a Venezuelan, I have a full right to determine my own future. Thus we say the leaders are there to guide the people, but the people should always be the front and the centerpiece of any democracy. Thus we say the people shall govern.
That's right. And also I want to highlight that Venezuela received delegations from many countries worldwide, but especially from the BRICS bloc, like China, Russia, also from countries from Africa, South Africa. And I wanted to ask for a material that is going to provide us with more information on what politics has been Venezuela applying to strengthen its international policy that has allowed the cooperation and also the closeness with emerging economic powers. Let's see.
In this regard, Venezuela and China signed 31 new agreements to increase bilateral cooperation to the highest level. 10 of these agreements will address priority areas such as economy, geology, technology transfer in the areas of health, mining, housing, electric power, and telecommunications. 18 other agreements focus on strategy areas that both nations intend to expand, such as politics, economy, trade, education, science and technology, aerospace, and communication. In this strategic line, Venezuela and Russia have signed over 340 agreements covering areas such as energy, tourism, industry, agriculture, and technology.
We interrupt our program to go live to images to Caracas at this hour where President Nicolás Maduro is holding bilateral meetings with delegations that came to the inauguration ceremony of today. We are seeing at this hour that the President is holding a bilateral meeting with the Secretary of the OPEP, Haytham, bilateral meetings at this hour regarding the swearing-in ceremony that was held today. And in this context, the President is already setting agreements and holding bilateral meetings with countries that are exporters of gas throughout the world. And let's recall that Venezuela is trying to strengthen its international policies, also in the sphere of the oil. Let's listen to the statements.
Pendiente los boletines de la organización, sus declaraciones y visitas a los países europeos y los buenos mecanismos de...
We are seeing at this hour that the President is holding a bilateral meeting with the members, with a delegation that came from the countries exporters of oil and gas, and
to benefit the peoples that produce oil. Venezuela is one of the nations that produces oil.
Recordemos que estas autoridades estuvieron presentes en la toma de posesión, en la juramentación del presidente constitucional Nicolás Maduro, celebrada este 10 de enero en el Palacio Federal Legislativo. Hay el compromiso de seguir trabajando justamente en el equilibrio.
There's a commitment to continue to work in the balance of the energy sector in the world. This is dialogue established between the constitutional president of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, and the Secretary General of OPEP. This is a delegation of the Organization of Countries that Export Oil. Secretary of OPEP has said Venezuela has played an important role for OPEP since its creation. That is why we are here to support you. Constitutional National President Nicolás Maduro stressed that Venezuela belongs to the energy sector of the world, and we are ready to produce and export and carry out contracts and agreements in oil sector and gas sector and our country.
And with this information, let's take a short break, but we'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to Venezuela Decides 2025. The Venezuelan people took to the streets today massively in support of the swearing-in ceremony of President Nicolás Maduro. Let's see.
We arrived today at dawn to support the president in his swearing-in. And this band also belongs to the people, it belongs to us too. We are making this beautiful day a popular celebration, a Chavista celebration, a democratic celebration, so that the world can see, and once and for all understand, that we are united, and we are with Nicolás.
As we were mentioning, Holo, the support of the Venezuelan people is not accidental. The Venezuelan government has been applying a cohesive strategy to evolve, to improve the life of the Venezuelan people. Despite the economic warfare, despite the unilateral sanctions and also the blockades, Venezuela is today leading in terms of economic growth Latin America. I bring you some data. In 2024, Venezuela increased its gross domestic product to 6.2%, surpassing countries such as Peru, Chile, Brazil, Mexico, and also Argentina. Also, Venezuela is producing today 97% of the food it consumes, marking a path towards agri-food independence. On your opinion, how Venezuela went from being an economy in crisis, dependent, to leading suddenly growth in Latin America and also surpassing regional powers? How was that possible?
Well, it has to do with the policies that are centered, as I was saying, that to the needs of the people. Venezuelan people need to not only stand behind the president and celebrate behind the president. There is going to be hard work ahead. So it is important that the spirit that we saw today and the unity we saw today needs to manifest itself in the discipline of getting up in the morning, going to those factories, getting the entrepreneurs of this country, ensuring that the needs of the people are adhered to, and as well as improving and transforming the lives of the people. Yes, people do not only feed on celebrations, they feed on the best policies that are there to empower them to be able to realize and make decisions for themselves that can improve their lives. So I do think that the president and the government of this country, by joining BRICS, it's a path that is quite clear to a lot of people, that BRICS does have a tons of opportunities for people not to know that the Global South is not a theory path. A Global South is a practical path that they will be part of it. They might not be a part of it this year, but I can certainly assure you that Venezuelan people, it's beyond hope. It is something that is going to happen. And when it happens, they will also be contributing to the Global South to move forward and release people from the oppressions that people have had for centuries around this world and as well as in Africa.
Precisely in this context, speaking about economy, let's remark the statements that the president mentioned regarding the economic growth that Venezuela has had in the past days. At this moment, the president stated precisely on this matter. Let's see.
We went from 80% dependence. We went from 80% of shortages in the street to a 100% supply of agroecological products, of organic products, finding answers within the productive movement of the countryside, within the farmers' movement, with the businessmen of the countryside.
And let's take the idea of the importance of Venezuela of being part of the BRICS. During his remarks today, Venezuela mentioned precisely the importance of Venezuela being a member of the BRICS bloc. What contributions, in your opinion, can Venezuela make to this bloc, taking into account that Venezuela holds the most important reserve of energy of the world? Also, it has values and it has a path of struggles aimed at revoking the current world order.
Well, as we know that, I normally tell people that people must know that the new world order has already begun. Yeah, it is not something that we wish for. It is, I mean, even with us as BRICS TV Africa, this is a station that plays on content of evidence of what is happening in the Global South. The Global South and the multipolar world is not some fairy tale that happens in the convention centers and congresses like the festival we have. It is what people want. It is happening as we speak, and people will need to be informed by the stations like yours to know of like how can they contribute towards that peaceful world that we all want, at the aim of it having clarity in sovereignty so that the neighbor can be your friend, but your neighbor is not supposed to be taking the decisions of your own home.
Precisely, and I want to ask you about Venezuela's intentions to build an integration alliance also with African countries. They are planning to build this agri-food project that also could be beneficial for the African countries. What's your perspective on this?
Well, Africa has potentials of not only benefiting from the skills of around agriculture, but also Africa has entrepreneurs that can actually be instrumental in ensuring that they invest in Venezuela. The ideas are not only in Africa or in Venezuela. There's no separation within our freedom. Our freedom really only will come and improve much faster when we're doing things together. So I think it's a great initiative, and I'm hoping that more agricultural I mean, South Africa is one of those countries that with agricultural technology that can really come and deploy and assist Venezuela in some parts of where you guys are not so strong, and as well as vice versa, where you guys can come throughout in other parts of Africa and invest and ensure that we share equally and we benefit equally. As the Chinese would say, a win-win solution is the best thing for everyone.
Precisely, as the media emporiums and the hegemonic media are trying to portray Venezuela and isolate Venezuela as an unsafe place, as enclosed on its politics. However, Venezuela is applying this strategy of building a united community, international community that could be beneficial for the peoples of the world, not just for Venezuela or Latin America.
Well, those are old age tactics. I mean, I come from South Africa, with a place called Nyanga East, where it's always been purported that someone dies in Nyanga East every 10 minutes. And I always tell them, why am I still alive? And I'm from Nyanga East. So I can tell you for sure that Venezuela does need to have a broader air access to really attract people. It's my first time here in Venezuela, and the trip was very long. So I think partnering with countries of BRICS like Ethiopian Airways, I think it could be something that can be done to really broaden of how people, especially people from Africa, can access this place as a part of a tourism destination. You've got great green destination that here people from South Africa and Kenya and Nigeria will definitely love to visit. I think if you work on those things of like key access, whether you're partnering with South African Airways and as well as Ethiopian Airways, I think a lot of South Africans and a lot of people on the continent of Africa would definitely love to come and see your place.
You mentioned that this is the first time you came to Venezuela. What's your perception? What is the idea that you're going to bring back to your country of Venezuela?
You know, South America is always known for its culture, for its music, the love of dance, and I think it's one of the things that we both share. I tell people that we need an equal world, equitable world that will ensure that we are still around. Otherwise, who will dance when we die? So I think I will definitely take the warmth of the people, and I will definitely take the resilience and the unity of the people of Venezuela. It is true that you guys are really inducing new energy in the nations of the Global South. At times we're going to a lull, but the energy here really, really says to me that no, the Global South is active again, and the Global South is going to really, really not only transform the Global South. I think sometimes we need to emphasize on this, that the idea of the Global South is to transform the world, to be a place of peace, transform the world to be, and remind of the world of like, it can be a place of love where we all share. It's not only about just enhancing the Global South vis-a-vis the North. No, it's to improve the image of the people of the North, of what they see in the world when they look out their windows, to say, hey, we are people too, and we love you as a person. You'll do your share, we'll do our share, and we'll both live a peaceful life.
In this sense, precisely, on the eve of the swearing-in ceremony, the World Anti-Fascist Congress kicked off also to accompany the swearing-in ceremony of President Nicolás Maduro, and also this Congress is part of the efforts of Venezuela in the past few months of becoming the epicenter of the fight, of the struggle of facing the anti-fascist movement in the world, and also it has become Venezuela the epicenter of the social struggles of the left worldwide. Perhaps, for example, is giving voice to the Palestinian struggle against the genocide perpetrated by Israel. On your opinion, what's the importance of this new mandate of President Nicolás Maduro in preserving and giving voice to the struggles of the world?
Look, I think beyond his own interests of the people of Venezuela, I think he can definitely really be one of those world leaders that can cultivate a clear legacy way beyond his time in office, because the struggle of the people of Palestine is not really a struggle of the people of Palestine. It happens in Palestine, and the people of Palestine are the first victims, but we are all victims in that struggle. We all need to get together that it is our struggle as humanity. We always need to see that as South Africa, as you know, with the court case. But what Mandela said, that the people of South Africa will never be free until the people of Palestine are free. So that tries to demonstrate that it is not about the people of Palestine. It is really, really about us. We are them. As we say in South Africa, umntu ngumntu ngabantu. I am because you are.
That's so nice. Also, Venezuela is trying to build this socialism of the 21st century. Do you believe that this determination is sort of a threat for the hegemonic powers?
Look, the kicks of a dying horse will always be dangerous. So, but as I was saying to you, that ours is to transform the world. It is not only about the visions and ideas. Best ideas for the world do not reside only in the South, nor do they reside in the North. But it is the battle of ideas that together as the people of the world can cultivate to have a better life for everyone, leaving no one behind, and ensuring that the people of here in Venezuela, the people of Cape Town, in Nigeria, and everywhere else, including the people of Palestine, can feel that they are on earth and they are protected by other humans that are on earth.
Thank you very much, Ayanda Holo, for your time here with us, for your perceptions on this day, and also for joining us in this debate and analysis of this event that is remarkable, not just for Latin America, but also for Africa and also for the entire world. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And like this, we are going to end our special program, and this second special program, Venezuela Decides 2025, in the framework of the swearing-in ceremony of President Nicolás Maduro, who starts today a new constitutional term. I'm your host, Alejandra Garcia, and I invite you to stay tuned with TeleSur for all the details on this paramount event. Thank you very much for watching.